Story 1. The Black Avalanche. Errol My Jones and the Aberfan Disaster. Let us start in the small Welsh mining village of Aberfan in 1966. This was a town built on coal, a tight-knit community where life moved to the rhythm of the mine. Looming high above the village was a massive man-made mountain tip number 7. For years, the National Coal Board had been piling mining waste onto it. It was a grim, black monument to the town's livelihood and a source of constant low-grade anxiety. Residents knew the tip was unstable, built over natural springs that weakened its base. But their concerns were dismissed, lost in the bureaucracy of a powerful industry. In this village lived a 10-year-old girl named Errol My Jones. By all accounts, she was a sensitive, dependable kid not known for telling wild stories. Just an ordinary, sweet girl. Yet, in the days leading up to one of Britain's worst industrial disasters, something dark and prophetic began to creep into Errol's world. The story goes that about 2 weeks before the tragedy, Errol told her mother something simple and deeply unsettling. "Mummy," she said, "I'm not afraid to die." Her mother, probably shocked to hear that from her daughter, just brushed it off. "You're too young to be talking about dying," she replied. But the thought was out there. It was a strange, out-of-place comment that would soon take on a horrifying new meaning. Then, on the evening of October 20th, 1966, Errol had a dream. The next morning, she insisted her mother listen. "I dreamt I went to school and there was no school there," she said. Something black had come down all over it. Her mother, busy with the morning routine, didn't fully grasp the weight of it. Kids have nightmares. And in a town living under the shadow of a coal tip, a dream about something black wasn't completely out of left field. She sent Errol off to Pancras Junior School, just like any other day. That day, Friday, October 21st, at 9:15 a.m., the world ended. After weeks of heavy rain, tip number 7 gave way. With a deafening roar, a 40-foot-high black wave of water-saturated debris broke free and hurtled down the mountain. It slammed into Pancras Junior School with unstoppable force. The walls crumbled, and a torrent of thick, black sludge poured into the classrooms, filling them in seconds. The children had just settled at their desks. There was no time to run. In an instant, the dream became a nightmare. In the end, 144 people lost their lives in the Aberfan disaster. 116 of them were children. Among them was 10-year-old Errol My Jones. Her chilling prediction had come true. The school was gone, buried under a mountain of blackness. In the aftermath, a psychiatrist named Dr. John Barker arrived to research premonitions surrounding the disaster. He heard about Errol's dream and her strange comment about not being afraid to die, and it became one of the most cited accounts in his work. Skeptics, however, see it differently. They argue that stories like these are heartbreaking examples of what's called confirmation bias. In a town where everyone feared the tip, it's possible a sensitive child like Errol absorbed that anxiety and processed it in a dream. After the tragedy, in the depths of grief, the memory of that dream may have become sharper and more specific than it actually was. Our minds search for patterns in chaos, and finding a paranormal meaning can be a way of coping with an unbearable loss. But for many, the story of Errol My Jones is just too specific. She didn't just dream of something bad. She saw her school disappear under something black. The detail is what haunts us. Was it just a child's imagination, or did this little girl somehow see the final, terrible moments of her own life? Story 2. The Ghost in the Machine. A prophecy on Reddit in our time. Ghost stories live online. Forums and message boards like Reddit have become the new digital campfires where anonymous users share tales that blur the line between fiction and reality. This next story comes from that world-chilling account from a Reddit user who believed that as a child, he'd unknowingly written his own death sentence. Now this story is purely anecdotal, from the r_glitch_and_the_matrix subreddit. Its authenticity can't be proven. Think of it as a piece of modern folklore, but its power isn't in its verifiability, but in how it taps into our deepest fears about fate and death. The post, from March 2020, was titled, "As a child, I might have predicted my year of death. It happens to be 2020. The author, a 34-year-old man, told a story from 2005. He and his girlfriend were looking through an old photo album his mom had made. When they got to the last, blank page, they found something that made their blood run cold. In what the author instantly recognized as his own childhood handwriting was a simple, terrifying inscription, 1985 to 2020, his birth year, and a year 15 years in the future. He had no memory of writing it. They closed the album, spooked, and never talked about it again. A few weeks later, the author erased the 2020, but the year was now lodged in his mind, a ticking clock he had apparently set for himself. As New Year's 2019 arrived, the fateful year loomed. Then, the pandemic swept the globe. The author revealed he had a pre-existing heart condition, making him vulnerable to the virus. Suddenly the childhood scribble felt terrifyingly real. His post ends with a plea. "Now I am completely freaked out that I woe and make it through this year. The post blew up. For over a year and a half, it was a digital mystery. Did he survive his self-predicted final year? Then, on December 28, 2021, a small edit appeared at the bottom of the original post. It read, "As there are a lot of DMs and requests, I'm still very much alive and doing well. Thanks for asking." The post was then archived. The prophecy had failed. Or had it? From a psychological view, it's a textbook case of suggestion. A kid writes down a year he likes, maybe from an album title. An adult with a health condition sees it and builds a narrative of prophecy. The anxiety during the pandemic reinforces it. His survival isn't a failed prophecy, but a triumph of reality over superstition. But the paranormal take is more seductive. What if the act of posting on Reddit, of sharing the prophecy and getting all that support, somehow changed the outcome? The idea that observation can alter an event is a popular trope. In this view, the user didn't just share a story, he fought back against his own fate. This kind of story is our modern mythology. Digital whispers passed from screen to screen, reminding us that we're still drawn to the idea that there are patterns we can't see. And sometimes, a child's scrawl on a blank page can feel like it holds the weight of the world. Are these just tragic coincidences amplified by grief? Or are we getting a brief, terrifying glimpse of something beyond our understanding? The final answer, it seems, remains hidden in the shadows where these stories live. What do you think? Have you ever heard a story like this, or had an experience you couldn't explain? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you were hooked by these unsettling mysteries, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We have a lot more journeys into the unknown coming up. Thanks for watching.